I am so, so excited today because I'm here with the amazing Kate Roham. And basically, Kate has been my idol throughout lockdown. She's been doing loads of free classes, but apparently way before that, which Kate, I didn't realize. So this is absolutely amazing. And I will dip in and out of Kate's fitness classes as often as I can. But Kate really is a specialist in fitness around menopausal women. Is that correct? Have I
Yeah,
explained that correctly,
absolutely.
Kate?
That's like my USP. That's where I've found myself.
Okay. So, Kate, just tell me a little bit about yourself, what you do, and how you came to do these amazing classes on Instagram.
Oh God! So I actually started. I won't go like way back because otherwise we'll be here for quite a long time. I've always loved fitness. I slightly fell off the fitness wagon after the birth of my third child. I put on quite a lot of weight. I did actually have, which I'm very honest about, 4 miscarriages before having him, and so I think I just decided to stop exercising because I thought that might cause miscarriage, and just didn't eat brilliantly well, and so did, in my eyes, put on a bit of weight. If I just skip a little bit further back, I have always, or I did suffer from disordered eating, so it's all, for me, being a bit overweight or feeling overweight has always been a bit of an issue. Anyway,
Okay.
I had Rupert. He was then a little bit ill in hospital, and I didn't have the confidence, which I think a lot of people will resonate with. I was 40. I had a new baby. A lot of the younger mums, weren't at my level. They were having their sort of firsts. He was my third.
Yeah.
I wasn't comfortable going to a gym. I didn't really know where to start, despite the fact that I'd exercised before. So someone said to me, just follow this guy on YouTube, Joe Wicks, and you can do his workouts.
Love Joe.
And I know. Well, I started following the workouts. I didn't get his books because I know how to eat. Most of us know how to eat,
Yeah.
and you as nutritionists will know this. Like, we know how to eat. We just have to change that mindset to do it.
Yeah.
So that bit wasn't really a problem, but it was just the exercising. Anyway, cut a long story short, I realized that there was nobody that really sort of spoke to women like me, though Joe is fun and young and hot to look at,
Which always helps.
Which always helps. Not as hot as Chris Hemsworth, I just have to say. However, it was just one of those things where I was like, I'm 40, and everyone said it would get harder at 40, and you never believe it. You're like, whatever.
Yeah.
And it really, really was. Like, it was so much harder. So I just wanted to do something, and that was what I was like, right, I'm going to qualify and I'm going to help mums. And that's where it started. Actually, my Instagram started as Hit for Life, helping mums.
Yes.
And then slowly I realized that what was happening and why it was so much harder was my hormones. So I sort of found myself in that postnatal perimenopausal state, which a lot of us are finding ourselves in because we're having kids when we're older.
Yeah.
And the training that I was doing or had been doing wasn't working.
Yeah.
And so that was when I was like, right, okay, what's got to change? What works with the hormones, and where are we going with this? And that it's just kind of grown from there.
So what did change then? What did you sort of suddenly discover that actually changed so that you then thought you could then implement this into your own teaching?
Yeah. Okay. So I would say that I'm terrible. I don't rest. I have a lot of energy on overdrive, and as you will know, cortisol levels, all of that plays such a huge role in digestion and in our hormonal makeup anyway. So I think I was possibly over exercising, under eating, although I thought I was eating well. I wasn't lifting weights. So again, it was all about that cardio. And then the barriers, which I think is really important to bring in, is that I've had 3 kids. So my high knees and my star jumps and pelvic floors weren't quite as good. And so it was all of those things. Time. All of that played a huge role in kind of working out what I needed to do to work out to the best of my ability. So in terms of time, I was like, that's where I started doing the early morning stuff. So it was done. So 6:30 and you're done by 7, and whoever, and actually I was going to say whoever says, because that's really awful. Like I have a lot of clients that are like, but it's so early. It might be early, but if you want to get that workout in and you're committed and you're ready to take on that challenge to become stronger, then you'll start getting up at 6:30 and doing it. Like it's like with a diet, with a program, we're putting good stuff in your body. When you're ready to do it, you'll do it, because you can give anyone a meal plan or anyone guidance on how to eat, but it's implementing it in their day-to-day life that counts. So it was working out at 6:30, and then it was adding weights and cutting back a little bit on the cardio, because recovery was harder. I had aches and pains. So just totally changing around and looking at what works for women through that perimenopause stage. Is again lack of sleep with night sweats.
I thought you were going to say young children.
Both young children and night sweats.
Yeah, it's a great combination.
We are that sandwich generation as well, a lot of us, and so this is obviously later on down the line, but I'm now caring obviously for my dad as well. So it's all of these things that factor in, and also being kinder to myself, like actually kind of going, do you know what, why am I so worried about what is wobbling and like all of this stuff? Because my body's done so much over the last like 45 years. It's carried children, it's recovered from injury, it has done so much for me. I need to be kind to it and stop thinking about what I look like and like what's going on inside. My heart needs to work, my joints need to work, my muscles need to work, my bones need to be strong. I'm kind of removing that aesthetic side. It's very hard, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I don't have days where I look in the mirror and go, oh crap, but then I think, actually, do you know what, shit, for 45, come on girl,
you're good girl.
This is the problem, that we always keep okay, that's fine, off you go, sorry.
No, do you know what, that is actually so brilliant, because that is completely that's so normal, and I love the fact that that's just happened, because this is what we all spend our lives doing. We spend our lives as mums, as wives, as whatever, trying to make everything work. But I spoke in my other podcast a few weeks ago when I was talking to Melinda about all the herbs and stuff to I'm
just shutting the door.
That's all right. So when I spoke to Melinda about all the herbs and stuff that we need to bring in, she was talking really about, we've got to put ourselves first, because if we, as in you and I and other mothers and other, people out there, or women who are, whatever age you are starting to put yourself first, everything else will fall into line and everything else will be better. Whereas, that old sort of, view of everybody else comes first and we've got a family and, and so we must look after everyone first. That sort of whole misconception needs to go.
Does need to change, but I mean, how hard is that? And like I always say that, and I think it's a really good thing to try and implement, but actually, if we strip it totally back, if I disappeared tomorrow, let's just smoke, because I hate thinking of bad things, nobody would have a sodding clue about anything. Who had where, A to B, what went where. So although we do need to put ourselves as, we are the glue of kind of everything we hold. And even with older kids, you've got, they still rely on you so much. And so, yes, I think we do need to put ourselves first. Sometimes that comes in different ways. And that is why I like to say to people, do that exercise first thing in the morning. And actually this morning was a brilliant example. Rupert was there, the whole time with me. Question, get on with it, just do it and keep doing it and keep doing it, and then your kids get used to it, and then everyone gets used to it. Because it is hard, and realistically the only time we're ever going to get for ourselves is when nobody is there. And that's quite a rare thing to happen. I was sat with my husband the other day, and I did actually say to him, do you know what, my eldest is 15, and the longest I've been away from all three of them together, like he's boarding, so I've been away from him, but it's 3 days, 3 nights in 15 years. So it is hard, and a lot of us might not have help, might be single mums, all of this sort of thing. So it's really difficult. It is, but I totally agree, we need to try and do it. But again, you don't want to beat yourself up if you can't. Exactly.
And also exercise, because there's so much available online, yourself included, it doesn't need to cost anything. And you don't need to go and buy expensive kit. You can do it all. I mean, if money is an issue, what would you suggest to somebody?
Dumbbells, strength at this age. At our age.
What age are you talking? What sort of age are you?
I'm going to go plus 30. Like, I wish 15 years ago. Funny enough, I did lift. I lifted for my wedding, And that was when I had really good lean muscle, but it was easier to build the lean muscle because I had estrogen ravaging around my body and every fiber and every cell. So that was fine, you know, pick up a weight and it works. But that, as you get older, you have to work harder to maintain that lean muscle. But if you start earlier, the benefits will so show at 45, and it will continue to be easier, because I've seen so many women that come to me at around about the age of 49. As I said at the beginning, I haven't changed anything, but my middle is beginning to just, you know, but your digestive system slows down, you know, everything just changes a little bit. So actually the key is early, you know, it's early intervention. Again, it's very difficult. A lot of people might not want to take HRT. They might not be able to take HRT. So with good diet and good exercise and overall well-being, actually, you can do a really good job at not necessarily having to take HRT. You know, I was a place where I'd done all of that and I still was suffering horrifically.
So what were you suffering from? What was your symptoms?
So I had terrible breathlessness. I had terrible heart palpitations. I actually wouldn't have been able to have a conversation like this because I would have to keep stopping and breathing, and my kids noticed it, everyone noticed it. I was the rage was so bad, like my kids were like scared of me. Night sweats and terrible joint pain, which isn't great when you're working out, but you know, the doctor said it was depression. I knew it wasn't depression. I mean, I've had mental health issues in the past. It wasn't that. It was something very, very different. But it was at the stage where I was actually sitting on the edge of my bed at night saying to my husband, if I don't wake up, tell them it was my heart. Because I just thought I wasn't going to wake up. And every morning I was so grateful when Rupert would run in and wake me up, because I would be awake. I was sent for chest x-rays, you know, this, that, and everything came back clear. And then I started, funny enough, having these conversations on Instagram about menopause. And I was like, okay, I think that's me.
Yes.
I was scared. I was scared. You know, if my mum ever listens to this, she'll be like, what? You were 15. But you know what? Actually, let's go with 16 because that's the legal age limit. But you know, at 16, we're very happy to take the pill, aren't we? You know, and we think of it. God, I don't want to get pregnant. I'll take that. And it's the same thing. So like, or if you've got a headache, you will take a paracetamol. So I don't know why I was so scared. I think maybe it's that thought that there's that fear, that sort of stigma, that taboo surrounding menopause. It's not overly glamorous, is it? You know, actually someone did a great thing today, you know, sort of 40 and 20, whatever, 14 in 1945 compared to 40 now. You know, we're so much more vibrant now.
Yes.
And I think that is also the key to possibly thinking about taking HRT, and it was for me, was that we're living longer. And when you start menopause and when you have your menopause, which is obviously, you know, a year after you've had your last period, and you've got another 30 years potentially like that. So actually, if you were suffering badly, like why not? But it took me, I mean, I got the prescription in, I think, August, and I didn't take it, and it's just sat looking at it until
thinking, shan't I? So I mean, this is going way off the path, but what do you use, like a gel, or what, you know, what do you personally
use? I'll show you because you're there, but I've got my patches.
Oh, there you go, look,
I've got 2 little patches, and then I take progesterone on day 15 for 12 days, and then I have testosterone. So sometimes, actually, I am honest, my thigh, I do swap thighs. Small, you know, Eric, no, you don't know of her. I feel so much better. I did also, which I think is really important, and again, it does tie into exercise and energy and sleep, and you'll agree, as a nutritionist, a dietitian, I gave up alcohol. So I've not had a drink this year, and that has been an absolute game changer for me.
I've heard loads of other women say this, and I know that alcohol does something to really interfere when you're going through these menopausal symptoms, and it just makes everything feel 10 times worse. But, you know, going back to the exercise thing, I think that it's so important. You know, I have a lot of clients who are sort of coming to me because they're really exhausted. So for them, the thought of doing exercise, and maybe they've done exercise their whole lives, or maybe they've never done it, but I try and install in everyone, you know, that you've got to kind of start somewhere. It's like the chicken and the egg, isn't it? You've got to start somewhere, because the more you do, the more you want to do. So if somebody is talking to you and they are experiencing menopausal symptoms and they've got no energy to exercise, obviously, you know, we would be looking at their diet together, some herbs, but then what? So, you know, what are the barriers to people starting to exercise to keep themselves well through menopause?
And I would say kind of day one or one day, like think about how you're feeling and how you want to feel. Okay, so you want to make improvements. Nobody wants to feel terrible. But in terms of the barriers of lack of motivation, walking, just walk. Okay,
Yeah.
so do those 10,000 steps a day.
Yeah.
You know, government guidelines are 150 minutes of exercise, 75 minutes, you know, more vigorously than the rest.
Yeah.
But if you divide that up, you know, I'm not going to do the math now, I should know, it's 30 minutes a day.
Yeah.
You know, that is achievable. Like, it is achievable. And also, we all set like really bizarre goals sometimes. So, you know, go, right, I'm going to exercise. So I'm going to do a diet. I'm going to go on a diet.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do this. And you do so well, you know, for that time. But then it's not sustainable. So you've got to make it sustainable. So let's say you're going to walk for 5 minutes a day for 1 week. You're then going to walk 10 minutes a day for the next week. And that will slowly increase your energy levels because you'll slowly begin to feel it working.
Yeah.
And then you can start to build on that. And then you can start to do weights. And then you can start to build other things in. It's also really important to remember that you might do that for a month and something might just slightly set you back.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's okay. Park it, rest, get back, and start again. But you can start over as many times as you want. If that is where you're at. But I think once you start, you can't stop. And it's been, what has been incredible is seeing the journey of so many women via Instagram who have never lifted, who are now emailing me saying, right, I need to get my 10 kgs, you know. It can happen. But I do appreciate that, you know, life gets in the way. But I think, and it's really hard, I think if you really want to do it, well, you can't take a horse and make it drink.
It's like anything in life, isn't it? If you, whatever you love to do, people will always make time for something that they love to do. But
totally.
What is the thing then about lifting weights that's so important in the kind of menopause phase?
Well, our bones, osteoporosis, obviously that decline in estrogen leaves us really susceptible. That lean muscle, which obviously actually in turn, the leaner you are does help burn those calories. But, you know, joint movement, and think about that, moving, lifting, you know, I want to be able to run around after my grandchildren, great grandchildren, dare I say it, they have kids early, and always just be the one on the move. And so lift for longevity, mobility and strength. Like I would say aesthetics, because obviously everyone likes toned arms and, you know, we'll talk about muffin tops and all of that sort of stuff. Whatever drives someone to lift weights, do it, because it's going to work. And I think the myth, obviously, again, the two things that stop people, or the excuses, is people think they're going to bulk up, or forgotten about, or that if you're lifting weights, it's not cardio enough, you're not working your heart. Now, just drawing on that, if you lift weights, you will burn fat for longer afterwards because of the muscle repair. So it's a better workout, really. You know, than running, which can be high impact. And again, running with pelvic floors, you know, all of these things, and that stops people. You know, I have mentioned in posts leaking, urges. I'm just looking on my prolapse, low energy, lack of concentration, fatigue. All of those things are barriers and excuses, but all of them can be addressed. So I think that's the thing to remember. Like, we can all sit here and I get that if you're tired, you don't want to work out, but go for a walk in the sunshine, because something is better than nothing.
So that's the point then. So, and how will that impact, you know, so you're saying about the bone health and just the sort of strength. So this is really to keep yourself well for the future. And this is, you know, everything you put in now.
Your body, like, I mean, you know, we're going to spend, like I said, 30 years in that menopausal state. We're living for longer. So let's live well. We have a choice. You know, you can either be one of those people that is going to run around or just sit back. But, you know, again, thinking with menopause, it's something I have mentioned, you know, type 2 diabetes, heart health. And actually, I think heart health, from what I know, having read my last stats, I'm always trying to read, is that actually, you know, women dying more of heart disease than men now, because in that post-menopausal state, where that tends to, not stage, postmenopausal phase, that's where we tend to become a little bit more sedentary as well. So we just need to start, we just need to keep going. I just want people to be strong. And do you know what, there's nothing more powerful than lifting as well, because I find, again, if you're going to run, I do get lots of good thoughts on runs, you know, because my mind goes brrr. When you're lifting, you get your mind and your body to connect. You can't think about anything else. All you can think about is, okay, I'm going to lift this, I'm going to get there. And for going back to what we were saying about having time and putting yourself first, actually, for 5 minutes or 10 minutes when you're lifting and you're feeling strong, you're putting yourself first, because you can't think of anything else other than how amazing your body is at lifting, and you're going to lift it, and you're using your breath to power that up. And there's your self-care right there in 5 to 10 minutes. It may not be a massage or a pedicure or, you know, a spa day, but I actually would take lifting weights in a gym session over a spa day. Honestly. I'm like my husband's like dream. It is kind of, what, do you want to go on a spa day? You know, like, no way. I
want to go to the gym.
Totally.
So if say, for example, somebody has never lifted a weight in their life, and say they're a you know, because I've got quite a lot of clients, so they're walking fit, they've got dogs, they walk for miles, but the tone isn't good, so the body tone isn't good, and so they haven't got the strength there. Even myself, I would even say that my lower body is far stronger than my upper body, because
that's very common in women.
I'm doing all the things that you're saying. So I run every day and I do all this, but so if, you know, for me and loads of women out there that perhaps don't lift weights, should we do it every day? How much should we be lifting? How do we start? What do we do?
Okay, so if depending on, again, so your level, resistance bands. So you could start with resistance bands, because obviously that's providing you with resistance. Body weight, I mean, body weight is resistance. So a push-up, you know, a squat, you're still having to lift everything up. We've got another interruption. This may laugh. He's what are you loading?
I'm loading
lots of games.
Sorry. I'm loading the one side in me.
And he's gone into Clubhouse. Okay, it's done then. Okay, great, it's done. Off you go. So yes, sorry, mum life.
I love it.
So resistance bands would be a really good place to start, because obviously that provides that little pull. And so you could start with, because you could do that, you've got your resistance band underneath your legs. Just a demonstration to Denise here of what you could do with your bicep curls. And you can do your bicep curls, and actually, you know what, you could do it in front of the TV if you've got that resistance band. So there is a way of starting. You don't have to go gun heavy with the weights. What you would surprise yourself with, however, if you did get your set of weights, is actually how much you could probably be capable of lifting. And my top tip on there would be do your first 2 or 3 sessions under somebody's guidance. So go to a gym if you can, and just say, look, I'm looking to get into weights. I haven't done it before. Could you point me in the right direction? Because getting that movement and that form is hugely important in protecting ourselves. Obviously, like lower back, which tends to be a huge area for injury, and wear and tear over the years. It's so common to have knee issues. I've got a lot of people that can't do lunges or hips, or hip flexors are tight because we don't stretch enough. So all of these things. But I would say to anyone, start your weights, do it under guidance. Get yourself a nice set of dumbbells, possibly starting around about 2 kilograms to 3 kilograms. They are quite pricey. But maybe, start in a gym, work out where you are at with the lifting, and then set yourself up at home. And resistance bands can be just as effective.
And how often? So, in a 7-day week, how often should you be lifting?
I would aim for 2 to 3 strength sessions a week. Currently, I am doing about 4 on Instagram, because actually what I've wanted to do is to pull back the cardio side a little bit. But just to see how that reacts with people, because I think we need to rest just as much. And what I would hate for people to be doing is to be doing cardio with me and then going on another cardio blast, and again raising their levels and putting their system through the roof. So we do at the moment, we do an upper body weighted workout on a Monday, lower body on a Tuesday, rest day on a Wednesday. That could be which Liz actually is a really another good way of training, which is low intensity steady state.
Okay.
And that's going on a bike or a walk or a swim for an hour, but just not, you know, going uphill. So it's just steady. Your heart rate is lovely and steady. And a great way to exercise. And that's normally around 45 minutes to an hour. So we often put that in on a Wednesday. Then the Thursday is lower body. Friday is upper body. And then Saturday we do a mixture between weights and cardio. So it is quite weight heavy. But I swear by it. And I think any trainer, knowledgeable trainer would put a lot of emphasis on weights and recovery.
Yes. So recovery, why is recovery so important?
Because with all the hormone fluctuations, the lack of estrogen, our bodies take a lot longer to recover. Right. Obviously, when you're lifting weights, you sort of get little muscle tears, which is how your muscle builds. Yeah. And actually, you need to give it a chance to restore itself. Yeah. Because if you don't, it can actually have a negative impact. And it's funny because that is where a lot of people go wrong. They think the more they do, the better they'll get. And actually, it's completely the opposite. The more you do, the adverse effect it can have on your body. Okay. I know that's really hard, being an exercise junkie myself. Yeah. You know, I love running, and I haven't been able to run actually also because I'm now teaching spin and I have to weigh it all up. Yes. You know, I'm running once a month at the moment. I will go for a run. Maybe we can go for a run. Yeah. I'm going to go for a run this week, possibly on Friday morning. Yeah. And you know, but I have to kind of go, okay, that's okay. Like, and I think, yes, you just 2 days is what I really say. And you can do active rest if you're really nervous. So that could be yoga, Pilates. Yeah. I'm not saying that doesn't mean you're not exerting yourself, but it's a lot gentler on the body. Yeah. If you are somebody that has to move every day. Yeah.
Well, do you know what? There's so many millions of questions buzzing around my head. But we are definitely coming back with episode 2 with Kate. And honestly, it's so interesting. I've learned so much, and I love it because you look the part as well. You know, you walk the walk, you talk the talk. But what I'm hearing from you is not to overdo it as well, because I definitely know that, you know, some people get into it and they go so over the top, and their bodies, I see them when I test on my health device, that they're actually exhausted. So in the beginning you said that you were exercising too much and not eating enough. It's so crucial that people are getting the right nutrients when you're upping your exercise levels, not only because you'll see it physically, but you'll feel better, you know, you'll have more energy to do it. So, you know, it's getting the diet right, getting the exercise right, and we're going to talk a whole lot more in our next episode. But for now, Kate, thank you so much. You are an absolute joy, and I can't wait till the next episode.
Thank you for having me.